the first tutorial video on Praat that I wanted to make for you guys. So this is basically a video on how to listen to sounds in Praat, which is basically the simplest thing you can do. So just to get started, I opened up Praat. Oops, I got a little message here. That is this sort of lips and ears icon. Not the most artistically rendered at that. But anyways, if you click on that, this opens up the basic Praat interface, which gives you both what is called an object window and this picture window. We're basically not going to use the picture window at all in this class. So we're going to just close this every single time we open it. That's in case you want to draw pretty graphics for files or what have you. We're not going to do that. Instead, we're just going to do basic stuff like listen to sound files for transcription purposes. So to do that, first you just need to open or read in a file. I have a slightly older version of Praat on this machine, but it works the same way effectively on newer versions. They keep coming out with newer versions almost every single week, so whatever version you download might look slightly different from this or even what you used a month ago. Anyways, my version, what you do is just click on open, read from file, and then you want to navigate through your system to find where the appropriate file is that you're going to listen to. So in my case, I want to listen to the exercises that I'm assigning for Monday's class, which I've put into this folder here. I'm going to open up this one because it's the same sound file that's on the handout that I made for this purpose. Basically what happens once you finally double click on the sound file, in the dialog box, it opens up in this object window. I could open up another and then I get a second sort of link here within the object window. I'll stick with this one. Basically, there's a couple different ways you can listen to it. Number one, you can highlight it and just click play.
Diabolical.
And hopefully you heard that okay. That's if you want to play the entire sound file. That's not as practical if you're listening to, say, whole sentences or longer stretches of speech. So instead, what you can do is if you click on this view and edit, or edit is what it used to look like in Praat, as you get a window that looks like this. This has two different representations in it. This has the acoustic waveform. We talked about that a little bit last time in class. This has something called the spectrogram, which we'll get into once we start talking about acoustics in the second half of the semester. This stuff is fairly complicated, so I don't want to focus on it a whole lot. But with the acoustic waveform, basically what we're going to see is air pressure fluctuations where you get audible sound. And then not much air pressure fluctuations where you get things like stops or just no sound. And you'll see what I'm doing here is pretty straightforward. To actually play sounds, you can either click on these gray bars down at the bottom of the window.
Diabolical.
That'll play the whole thing. This will play what's visible. So
diabolical.
At this moment, the visible part is the same thing as the whole thing. We'll change that in a second. But if I just want to play a part of it, like this first sort of vocalic sequence, I can highlight it and then just click on the sort of corresponding column here in this third gray bar. And it'll just play this little sequence. If I want to, I can zoom in like this by selecting a sequence of speech and then clicking this cell button. And then it'll just give me the whole visible part. I can still chop it up into little bits and pieces if I want to, like that. If I want to sort of focus on what's going on with that vowel. If I want to, I can go out like this. This zooms out, this zooms in. Same way, if I want the whole thing, it goes like that, right? So what's going on here? I can focus in and just play it like that. That's how you play sound files. That's the basic sort of functionality you'll need to do all the transcription exercises. There's a lot more you can do with Praat. I'm not going to get into all of it at the moment. I'll make some future videos and handouts for the same purpose later on, but hopefully that will at least get you through the transcription exercises over the weekend. Have fun.